Welcome to Rock Your Body Truth. In this tutorial, we're going to be looking at the ab curl, which is flexion of your upper spine that we see in lots of exercises through the classical Pilates system, starting with 100 and then in the roll up, in the ab series and many, many more. So I would like to look at how we can build a really strong ab curl to reduce tension in shoulders and in neck, which can be very problematic. And this comes down to two main things: the alignment of your rib cage and the alignment of your pelvis. So we're going to take a look at those, and hopefully this is going to help you learn how to curl up with confidence, get better connected into your center, and be able to build your practice, your home practice. Okay, let's get started. So we're going to roll down into the mat and be lying down on our backs, and we can keep the knees bent for this. So the relationship between the pelvis and the rib cage is really important, the alignment of both, in order to engage the muscles, the key muscles that we're targeting, which is not just the abs at the front, but it's the waist muscles at the back, which also connect into the back muscles as well to stabilize the back. So the placement of the pelvis is basically what we're looking for, is the pelvis to feel like it's flat on the mat. So if you look up, your hip bones hopefully should be quite level. Your pubic bone is level too, and you should feel like you have your tailbone in the mat. So you're sending the tailbone into the mat and keeping the hips as balanced as possible. Now, what I hear very often is, well, if I do that, my back is then arched, and this is where the placement of the rib cage comes in. And this is the secret to building a really strong practice, which includes ab curls and flexion of the spine. So if we think about rib cage arms, where we always start, I talk about the arms connecting to the back, and I also talk about keeping your ribs and your back in the mat when your arms are reaching over behind you. So the key point is connecting the arms into the rib cage. So what does that mean? Well, what that means is that in order to have that good connection into your back and into your waist, the arms into there, we need to understand where to put the rib cage and where to keep the pelvis. So put my hand behind my head here. If I've got my pelvis flat, but I feel like my back is arched, because my pelvis being flat has pulled my back off the mat, and it's also pulled my ribs off the mat. Now, if I push my ribs down, that's inevitably going to cause me to tuck my pelvis, which doesn't really do much for my stomach muscles, but it does get me squeezing my glutes. So it fixes the pelvis in place. I'm pushing my ribs down, and that's not gonna feel very good when I'm trying to lift my upper body up. I can feel my neck tension here. So what we want to do is look at the rib cage arms, where it's connecting your ribs downwards towards the pelvis, engaging these muscles like the corset muscles here, okay? Without changing the position of the pelvis. Then this then lengthens out your spine, and that's when you can feel your back on the mat. It should help you also stay more relaxed with your shoulders. So let's build that into the rib cage arms, which is why it's so important to understand this exercise. So once you feel that you have your ribs a little bit, you slide them down towards the pelvis. You can feel your back lengthening in the mat. You pick the arms up, and now as you reach the arms behind you, you only go as far as keeping this placement. If you take your arms further, too far, you can see my back arching, I've lost my connection into my waist. My pelvis is tipped, my back is arched. If I pick my arms up, I may stay like that, or I may feel my ribs coming back down again. Either way, this is a very important part of Pilates that you should really spend time to learn. There is a little hack if you're struggling to get your ribs down. If you curl up your upper body, you'll feel your ribs slide down. Now, when you then place your shoulders and your head down, try and keep the ribs there, and you'll feel these muscles tightening up. So let's take the rib cage arms again. Inhale, we take the arms over. I want to feel my ribs sliding down, staying anchored in the mat, and my back staying long in the mat, and my pelvis staying in this neutral position. To pick the arms up, I just make my ribs a little bit heavier, anchoring them down deeper. Inhale, reach the arms back. Exhale, pick them up again. One more. So if I bring my arms down now, I curl up the upper body. That movement of me curling up comes from the ribs moving downwards, so I can feel the front of the ribs anchoring down deeper into the mat, and I can really feel that connection of the ribs down into the mat. So you may hear me cue, anchor the ribs into the mat. This is what I mean. Now, when we take the hands behind the head, that also can cause the ribs to lift. But if we're focused on reaching our arms overhead in our ribcage arms and keeping our ribs on the mat, nothing should change if we interlace the fingers and place the hands behind the head. So you should feel like you're doing the ribcage arms. So to curl up, get the length through the back of the neck, maybe bring the chin a bit closer to your chest, and then the movement is initiated by the rib cage sliding downwards to curl up the upper body. And I'm right up off my shoulder blades here. I'm feeling it in my stomach, but not in my shoulders or in my neck. So let's do that again. So this is not the alignment you want. The alignment that you want is the rib cage arms alignment. Inhale, ribs slide down to pick up my upper body, and exhale down. I'm going to bring my legs together for that midline connection. Inhale up, exhale down. Take it again. Inhale up, exhale down. And that felt like I was really coming up into a really strong, grounded, anchored position in my center here, which then helps me in my 100 position or in any of the other flexion-based exercises that we have in the classical system. I hope that helped. I hope you found it useful. Give it a like if you did. Drop me a comment if you would like me to add something in different, or if you have any questions on that. And if you'd like me to do a tutorial on any aspect of the classical system, then once again, drop me a comment and let me know. Also, if you'd like to find out about how to work with me online or in person, then why not head over to rockyourbodytruth.com, where there is an invitation for a free call with me where we can explore all the options. And lastly, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, because then you will find out about all the great new video content that I'm uploading. Thank you so much. I hope you found it useful, and see you again soon.